Hey, I just wanted to do a real quick video explaining a kind of a weird thing that happens with surveillance cameras that I couldn't find anybody else had made a video on, so just putting something together real quick. I apologize that the sound quality is not great. The video is not great because I'm using a kind of a lower end camera that's not one of my main cameras here. But that's usually where you see this stuff anyway. So what happens is we have a ghost effect where it looks like a small blob or a small ghostly entity is moving across your field of view, and it may even move in front of objects and then maybe even seem to pass into a wall or something like that, depending on what your scene may look like in your field of view. Well, what I'm trying to do is explain that. And what causes that is when a very, very small bug or object passes not in front of your camera lens, but literally on your camera lens. When something's far enough away, obviously what I'm using here is a toothpick. This is a wooden toothpick. This is a night mode, so it's lit up pretty good. Like a normal bug would be glowing white. You'd see some zigzags or whatnot, those kind of artifacts, spider webs or the little white dust particles floating around that look like orbs, but they're not transparent. But what I'm talking about is the transparent part. So obviously this is not transparent. It's a wooden toothpick. There's my hand behind it. But look at what happens when I bring the toothpick close to the lens, and in particular the end of it. Bear with me because this camera is inverted and the lens is small, so as I get close, it's going to be really hard to drive this thing, steer it correctly, so I'm trying to do it right. Okay, so I think, hold on, I'm going to move it around. Okay, so right there, my toothpick is on the lens. Okay, you can see it's transparent. Oh, crap. There it is. Now, moving it around. There we go. And you can see through the toothpick. Okay, transparent. Now, if I pull it away, now it's no longer transparent. It's glowing white. Coming back down, coming back down, coming back down. Transparent. Okay, so one of the little interesting creatures that we have here in the Midwest is known as a clover mite, and they like to come out in the fall, not so much in the summer. And these little critters are about the size of the ball on a ballpoint pen, if not a little bit smaller. They're kind of an egg shape, or wouldn't really call them a pear shape, kind of an oblong avocado shape, I guess. But they're so small you wouldn't see the legs anyway. But what you would see, if it was crawling across the lens, would be very similar to the tip of this toothpick right here, which is transparent. Obviously, it wouldn't be the whole toothpick. It would just be the tip of it, or a thicker part. Now, even when I lay this toothpick down, that's a thicker piece of wood. You could still see through it, right? Not when it gets super thick, but as I pull, not even the thicker part still looks kind of transparent. So if you take a roundish kind of a bug and it's crawling across your screen, man, you're going to have some weird looking stuff, right? Especially if it's kind of leaving tracers behind it or whatever, because let's face it, the lower end cameras like your Wise cams or your Ring cameras, they're not really great cameras. They have a lot of cool features, but they're not high-end cameras, so their night quality isn't the best, especially the frame rate, which is why you get the zigzag bugs too. But that's not what I'm talking about. My point was basically the transparent part, and I'm hoping that I can illustrate that and explain that with that. The reason it's transparent is because the lens, or I guess I should say the light sensor that's actually capturing the light, is larger than the object. So the light from around it is filtering through, which makes the object look transparent. The other part, why it's not in focus, is, well, these things aren't designed to focus right up on the lens. They're designed to focus, further away. I mean, your bad guys aren't going to be putting their face up on your camera. So they're not going to focus there anyway. So it's going to be out of focus. The details will be lost, and you'll just have kind of a blob moving around. It'll be transparent. So if you've had that happen and it kind of freaked you out a little bit, don't feel alone. It kind of freaked me out the first time. And, you know, that was probably 15 or 20 years ago, the first time that happened. Since then, I've seen it so much that I know what it is. I've played with it and experimented with it, but I'd never seen anybody do a video on it. So, obviously the toothpick isn't a bug. I don't have little mites that I can throw on my camera to have them crawl around, thank goodness, because I don't want those things in my house anyway. So this is the closest thing I could do, which I think kind of shows the science behind it. So I hope that helped out, and that's all I had.